Hello everyone, I'm Jo Butler-Green, member of Devon Dowsers, and it's my pleasure to talk with Guy Hudson, professional water dowser with close links to Village Water and joint founder of Water Dowsing Africa. Hi Guy, how are you doing?
Hello Jo, lovely to talk to you. Thank you for interviewing me.
You're very, very welcome. By way of background, I interviewed you earlier in 2022, this year, as you were planning your trip to Western Province in Zambia to support and train remote communities to accurately locate potable water in underground aquifers. So that's the background. And I know you recently returned from your important field trip, which was generously funded by the dowsing community and beyond. So I'd like to start by asking you to briefly explain how your trip came about and what your initial expectations regarding the value and range of your input in Zambia were.
Well, okay, so I had a role in setting up Village Water. And Village Water has been active in Zambia now since 2004, and it was set up by three members led by David Dixon, three members of the British Society of Dowsers, and we initially had a lot of help from the BSD to set up the charity. And right from day one, we put together a database so that we recorded every village we went to, every new well that we created, every well that we rehabilitated, and we recorded the map coordinates of the village, because you'd be amazed how many villages have got the same name and how the names change in Zambia. Every time there's a new election, they do gerrymandering, and then, oh dear, anyway, so we've got the name of the village, we've got its map coordinates, we've got the name of the head man or woman, and most importantly, we've got the people and also the general conditions. Every time we did a survey, we recorded, and that became very important data, and that's a cornerstone of what the activity of Village Water is these days. Yeah. And I was a trustee for 13 years, and then at that time I felt I'd given what I could. And I wanted to let other people take over, and they have been brilliant. They have been superb. And I recently reconnected with them and found out, so with the use of the database, it's like incredible what they've done. So we've got more than 2,000 wells, and we've reached over, with all the rehabilitations and everything as well, and the training for water hygiene and sanitation, all part of the integrated program. No point providing new water, good clean water if you don't do the hygiene and sanitation as well. You don't get the benefits. So we've now reached 1.1 million people. I just can't believe it.
Phenomenal.
And so it's just, and it's all properly certified and testable and all that kind of stuff. So incredible thing to have happened. And I learned so many life lessons doing all of that. But as Peter Taylor, a key dowsing person in the UK who trains a lot of people, never forgets to remind us that Village Water have forgotten about dowsing and the importance of dowsing. So they do what they do without the benefit of that, kind of. More of that later. But anyway, so I was thinking that really I'd like to do that again, because in the early days we used to shake buckets at the annual conference, and we used to raise a fair bit of money, and it seemed like actually Village Water were missing out that way. Not least probably in the field, I suspected, were missing out on the incredible valuable contribution made by dowsing to find out where to develop a well. So I contacted Claire Weirden, the director of Village Water, and asked if they would mind if I went over there and attempted to teach dowsing out in the field. And she was very pro the idea, which was lovely, because sending people out there always interrupts what they're doing. You get in the way, you know.
Sure.
So, and that's what we found. We used to do visits for sponsors every year early on, but we found actually when you've got detailed things going on, you've got to, you know, you've got your schedules to meet and tight deadlines and all that kind of stuff, because you've got so many people to do, that having extra people around didn't help. So we stopped doing that. So it was very gracious of her to try me out, see what I could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so not being particularly flush with money, I needed to raise it. And thanks to Alan for setting up Dowsing for Africa, and also collecting money from lots of dowsers to help with my costs. And so that's been really good. Thank you, Alan. Anyway, so what's next question?
Well, I was interested in what your expectations were before you actually got to Zambia, and how those expectations actually differed when you arrived on location. I know the trip was quite tricky to plan, and there were lots of sort of obstacles and hitches along the way. So how were you feeling before you went, and how did that compare with the reality on the ground when you got there?
Well, I actually got very nervous. I sort of lost confidence in, well, what right did I have as a visiting European? How did I think I would do a better job than the locals? And and did I have a right to do that kind of thing? And all of those deep questions.
Yes.
And I just hoped I'd be useful and I'd be able to contribute. And I wasn't just something, you know, just a waste of time, really.
Yeah.
And that wasn't helped. So I got it all, got the tickets booked, and quite complex and difficult now getting good value air travel.
Sure.
I ended up out via Addis Ababa. Looked absolutely fascinating. I'd love to go to Ethiopia sometime.
Yes.
Maybe we can have a dowsing expedition there. I don't know. And then down to Lusaka. When I got to Lusaka, I was booked up in this amazing hotel, which was not very expensive and very high specification. So walking to reception to my room, which was about 100 meters, I came across a herd of impala, these lovely, sweet animals with their big eyes and incredibly skittish. Tiniest movement from me would make them jump. And that was lovely. Anyway, so in the morning, I went round to the organization that, do the work for Village Water in Zambia, an organization called ECHO, set up by the amazing Mobiana, who gave this magnificent talk in a conference room in the House of Lords once for fundraising. And anyway, so went round to the ECHO office in the morning. And for some reason, the taxi driver just couldn't find it. And I spent ages driving around, just anyway, whatever. And got there, and very nicely run, very good offices, not too plush, but well organized, everything working, good computers, good, safe, secure storage for all the parts and the pipes for pumps and all of those kind of things, of storage for work out in the field for fixing stuff. And I sat in the office of Annie, who ran this, and then she showed me downstairs to meet some enumerators. I thought, I don't know, I've never met an enumerator before. What does an enumerator do? And so this concept of the importance of the database and the accuracy of the database, and it was demonstrated later, because the pumps that we went to mend had been broken down for 2 days. and we were out there fixing them, you know.
Yes, incredible.
And it's just like you've got thousands of pumps there, and this team are ready to go and do that. The reason is it's very practical. If the pump stops working, people are straight back to using the old water sources and immediately get ill again.
Yeah, sure.
It's absolutely essential that they get fixed quickly, and using the database, it can be. And so anyway, so these enumerators were taking data from the field every time teams went out and took data on a properly written smartphone app, believe it or not. They're really switched on.
Very high tech.
They're really switched on, but no more than that is necessary. And so the enumerators were cleaning up the data before it went into the main database. And so very lively, intelligent, recent graduates, and so it was super to meet them. But Annie, who ran the place, didn't realize why I'd come. She thought I'd come. It was on another aspect I was looking at, which was iron content of the water, which rots the pipes. And she thought I'd come for that. And I explained that, will I be teaching people to douse? And she said, just off the cuff, oh, well, whenever the big drillers tell us that they've dowsed for water, I completely ignore it. It's unscientific. I thought, oh no, I've traveled half around the world. And I was going to stop and think, oh dear. But actually, it was really important because it told me that the big drillers use dowsing, as you'd expect. I mean, what else are they going to do? Just like in England.
Like the UK, yeah.
Yes, the UK, sorry. If you've got a big truck and a team of people, half a dozen people, and you're burning a lot of diesel every day for this, 20-ton truck or whatever it is, with a big drilling rig on the back, the worst thing at commercial suicide is to have dry wells. And so, of course, you douse.
Of course.
And these people all douse. And she sort of told me that, even if she's saying a rather negative message. And so then next day, they told me to go to the bus station. Oh dear, what an utterly chaotic place. And the bus I caught, the only one going out to Mongu, which is the regional capital, 500 kilometers west on a dead straight road through a fascinating wildlife park, the size of Wales. Fabulous trip, really, except the bus had no suspension and a lot of the road was unbelievable. I just had 10 hours of banging and shaking with all the windows rattling and all this stuff. And when I got out, I was so shaken. It was like getting off a ship, the whole ground was shaking underneath.
Yeah.
And then the similarly chaotic bus station at the other end got a lift to the hotel, and the hotel made Fawlty Towers look like, I don't know, look like the Hilton. It was kind of like, what do you need normally when you go find a room? Well, you expect them to remember that you've had a reservation made for you, and you expect them to be able to give you a room key. No, yeah,
not optional extras, really, are they? But
not optional extras, and nor is your food order actually transmitting itself to the kitchen. Actually, the room was very good. The kitchen food was really good too. So just a question of being patient and calm.
That's right.
And kind of like just thinking it'll all work out in the end. Anyway, this is working out in the field for you. Anyway, so in the morning I was picked up by the driver of the team, and I got to know the team out in Mongu, who were all great. So they were all in their way, had great personal strengths, but also deep knowledge of what they needed to do, and incredibly competent. Well, they're a really young team, most in their 20s, I think, and just so competent and so quick and so effective. They're lovely people. And so I was taken out to got to first day I just got to know the team. Second day went out to a village which we had as part of our program. It was a hobby horse of David Dixon, actually, that we had to get across the Zambezi to these unloved villages, which took you had to put your car on a raft, which was then rowed across the Zambezi.
Wow.
And all that stuff. So it was a real logistic exercise to get there. But now the Chinese have put in a set of bridges across the Zambezi and the floodplain. You just pay your toll and you just drive across. So we were there fairly quickly. And that's where I found that the broken well had been broken down just for 2 days, and they fixed it really quickly. They fixed it in 2 hours, which involved replacing all the pipework and the cylinder and piston. And so it was wonderful to watch them working so quickly. Really was
remarkably quick turnaround, thanks to the database.
Well, yes, and their skills
and the skills, yes,
considerable skills and experience. And while I was waiting to go out, I started teaching the people, the team, in the day before. And when we're in the village, anyone who got any spare time wouldn't leave my side. It was kind of, and also, I've got an archery quiver that I keep the L-rods in. And so they can actually be, if I'm talking to somebody else, somebody can pull them out without me noticing. Whenever I said, we'll just get the rods out just to teach you, they weren't there. And I had to run off and find out where they'd gone. There's someone else just furiously trying to find water. And so what I found was that, crucially, actually, getting people to find where the water was, for potential future wells or whatever, was very quick and easy. What takes longer and what is really, really critical to them is to find the depth.
Sure.
Below. So to find the depth both to the top of the water and the bottom of the water, and also quantifying the yield. So how much water, once they develop a well, are they likely to get? And that was the sticking point that I found when I was training. So after we'd been to that village, we went to a second village where they're going to put a well in. So I was prospecting for, a borehole. And
everything okay?
I just lost my, and it's happened again. I've just lost my picture. I think my computer's just crashed. What is happening now?
Oh, goodness.
It's never crashed before. Oh, there we are, you're back. Restart required.
Windows is interrupted.